Good evening, Council. My name is Lefty Grimes from East Hanover. I want to talk about your ban on medical cannabis. I was actually shocked when I saw the video of a cancer patient standing right here thanking you guys for something. I don't know what it was, thanking you guys for recognizing her cancer and how she was suffering. And 5 minutes later, you went and you banned medical cannabis, something that cancer patients need. And it's the Department of Health that recommends that for sick people. Not only was it anti-humane, it was anti-Christian. It was disgusting what I saw here that day. And my friend who has cancer, stage 4 cancer, couldn't be here tonight. He's home suffering. He wanted to be here at the last 2 meetings to tell you guys that you're wrong for what you did and that medical cannabis is very helpful. You got people in wheelchairs in this town that you have just put barriers in front of. You're supposed to put, in the Bible it says we put the first last, the last first. You guys have taken the last and put barriers in front of the last. People that are already suffering and hurting, you have put barriers in front of them and made their lives more difficult and stigmatized their medicine. You didn't ban fentanyl and OxyContin. You didn't ban booze, but you banned medical cannabis, something that's helpful to many people here in New Jersey that the Department of Health recommends. Like I said, you got people in wheelchairs. How far do you want people in wheelchairs to go in your town? These people in wheelchairs are on disability. They're sick. They're suffering. They don't have cars and what you think they can do. They're in dire straits. They're in wheelchairs. How far can they go? How far do you want them to go? There's no dispensaries around here. There's nowhere for them to go. I advocate for police because police unions have stigmatized it. They don't want to get behind this, but police departments, so a lot of cops need medical cannabis because their first order of treatment is OxyContin and Percocet when the doctors have given to them. And it's causing cops to go out and get addicted and start doing other things like shooting up heroin. And that's happening right now. And that cop did not shoot heroin starting off on heroin. He started off with his doctor giving him prescription drugs. He doesn't have the option to use cannabis because the police union doesn't recognize it. And they won't support it. There was a police chief that died a few years ago. He was ashamed to tell people he was a medical cannabis patient because his whole life he spent putting people away for this stuff, and here he is using it at the end of his life. And he didn't need that stress in his life. He didn't need that extra pain that he had. The stigma that you have got on this plant has to end, and you need to rescind your ordinance. And you want to ban recreational, that's fine. But to ban medicine that people need, that's anti-Christian, anti-humane, and it's just horrible what I seen that day. That this poor woman's up here with cancer, and you guys are just banning the medicine, and you didn't even talk about it. There was no public comment about it. It was you told him to read the title by title only. There was no discussion of it. I'm sure if people knew about it, they would have said something. So, and a hashtag vote cannabis 2020. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike Vingileos. I'd like to speak about my journey with opiate abuse and the medical marijuana program. I've struggled with addiction for a long time. I started out going to a doctor who wound up prescribing me painkillers. And then I wound up getting a tolerance, and then the tolerance turned to a dependency. And I found myself hopelessly addicted very quickly. So what it did was it pushed me to the street. And I started buying pills off the street. And then it wasn't long before I started doing heroin because I couldn't afford to buy pills off the street. So I started snorting it at first, and then I was shooting it. And I was shooting heroin on methadone for over 10 years. When I was off of heroin, I was on the methadone clinic, and that was a horrible existence. Being on those, being on those opiates, but they really just took the personality out of me, stripped the personality from me. I wasn't active. Wasn't happy. I tried to get off of it many different times. I tried with the traditional methods, that recovery offers. which has a horrible success rate or lack of success rate. And there's a reason kind of why those programs are really hard to navigate through. They're kind of not really set up for you to like win. It's very much, you're treated like you're a number, dollar signs. It's not like you're treated like a patient. When I was at that methadone clinic, there was another gentleman who had a medical marijuana card, and he brought it to the attention of the facility. And what they wound up doing was stripping him from his take-homes. And when you build up those take-homes by passing drug tests, so he was trying to be on the right side of the law. He brought it to the attention of the facility. He was happy to be decreasing his opiate intake. They found out about it. They stripped his take-homes. He had to start all over in terms of the methadone clinic. There's struggles and complications that are out there for people like me, for myself. And I wanted to come here and explain to you, so maybe you could see the face. You've probably heard stories like that. But maybe if you see the face and you see me talking about it, maybe it'll hit home a little more. Maybe not. I don't know what I expect from a council who did what you guys did, banning in front of the lady with cancer. That was a horrible thing to watch. It's a horrible thing to rewatch when that video gets shared online and we look at it again. It's disgusting behavior. It's ignorant. And it's horrible to see all these obstacles that are like boxes you out. Red tape, you know. We should be making it easier for people. We should be making it much easier. People out there in the program are some of the most vulnerable patients that are allowed to use this cannabis. They're legally allowed to use it by the state. So I think you should probably get on board with that kind of thinking. Banning medicine is completely ignorant. So thank you for listening to me. I hope maybe it had some sort of impact. I don't really know, but thank you.
Any other member of the public wish to be heard? Please come forward.
Hello, my name is Joanne Zito. I'm Falmouth Ave, Elmwood Park, New Jersey. I'm on the board of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana of New Jersey and an advocate for medical cannabis in New Jersey. In July of 2019, the state passed a law, the Jake Honig Act, Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Act, which is in honor of a adolescent cancer patient in the state of New Jersey. The reason why they passed this law, that the state needed to expand the medical program, but for this particular family, they knew that cannabis helped with his condition while he was battling cancer. And in 1974, the federal government did their own studies with cannabis on cancer, and they found that it can kill cancer cells. So in October 5th, I believe it was, your city council recognized a cancer patient in the town. And when she came to thank you, it happened to be the day, October 15th, I believe, when you banned medical cannabis in your town. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with legalization, but we're not there yet on that. So as it stands now, you're basically banning a medicine that has been expanded to cover many conditions, especially cancer. Cancer was one of the first conditions they allowed over a decade ago. But because of the state's slow handling of medical cannabis, maybe not treating it like a serious medicine, it languished for over a decade. Now we're past the 2019 Jake Honig Act, Compassionate Use Medical Cannabis Act. And really what's standing in the way is towns banning medical cannabis. So I think that if you are to honor someone in your town for a condition that this medicine can help, you should not ban this medicine in your town. And it doesn't just ban sales, it bans cultivation, paraphernalia for use, which wouldn't even make any sense, because if you have patients in this town, they are legally allowed to use their cannabis here. Being an advocate, I've been trying to get the state to pass a homegrown provision for patients. It was in the original CUMA, which was taken out, but patients need to be able to grow their own medicine because the state has not provided, they do not have access still. There's only 7 dispensaries and a satellite in the whole state for 9 million people. So when you pass this kind of ordinance, you're also passing a law saying that patients also cannot grow their own medicine. All the states that have legalized cannabis have medical home grow. All the patients in their state are allowed to grow. So I really would like you to rethink your ordinance and have compassion for the people in your town that may be suffering from conditions that this medicine will help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Aubrey Conway. So I'm also a medical marijuana advocate. I'm also on the medical advisory board for one of the currently functioning medical dispensaries in New Jersey. Nowadays, it's a little harder for me to go and speak at a lot of council meetings because I'm not well myself. I don't have cancer, but I am a patient myself as well. So a couple nights ago, I was actually at an event that was the 2-year anniversary of the death of Jake Honig. I'm close with his family, and over the time that I've been an advocate, I was not always sick. I benefited from being a patient, and I'm now sick again. But there are so many patients that I've spent time with that are terminal. I specialize in juvenile and terminal cases and patients. And I can tell you that so many of them have used Jake's example and the motto of be like Jake and never give up to get them through and control what they can control. It gives patients a sense of control when everything seems out of control when you're dying. So I just want to reinforce to you again that perhaps you could reconsider your stand when it comes to medical marijuana and facilities that have the sale of medical marijuana. I don't represent any company or anything like that. I'm only representing patients and those patients that I advocate for and that I support their families too. And when you're having an ordinance banning sometimes sick children and dying people's medication, you're telling them Roseland doesn't want you here. Roseland doesn't want to cater to you or your medical need. And I know that's not what Roseland is about, but that's what you're telling these people. And if you think that you don't have patients in your town and the surrounding towns that really need closer access, you're wrong. Because you do have patients right here that need access, and you have patients super close that need access. And you could save a parent or a parent of a patient, an extra hour, 2 or 3 traveling to go get their terminal child's medication or their terminal husband's medication. So I really urge you to rethink that stand when it comes to medical marijuana. That's the only thing that we're here talking about tonight and asking you to reconsider is patient access to medical marijuana, and Roseland stand on it. And I'm happy to be a resource if anyone has any questions or anything like that about the industry or the medical aspect or advocating for patients. I'm here to help. Ms. Zito is a great resource as well. So I just urge you to reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other member of the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, we'll move on to our introduction